It's like you're in the middle of another. It's just a little oasis in the middle of Pinellas County. It's just you hear a little bit of traffic and you'll hear a lawnmower, but it's just like you've entered into another world. You know? It's just
This is a great spot.
peaceful and amazing.
I retired to Florida because my grandchildren lived nearby, and this looked like a good place for Kay and I to retire together. And when we moved to this neighborhood, about 6 months after retirement, we learned that the West Klosterman Preserve was going to be put up for sale by the school board to developers.
So when COVID came along, it changed things. People were stuck at home, and the developers realized that, and so the developers were very marketable. They needed more housing. They could just crank out housing everywhere, and they'd fill up right away. So they started picking on all the green areas. If you look on Google Earth, Pinellas County looks like a paved peninsula with specks of green. We hadn't been told anything. It was kept very hushed.
And developers were already bidding on it by the time the neighborhood found out about it.
Yeah, I came out of the back of my house one day and saw a bunch of people. And I've been living there for 11 years, and I had never seen a bunch of people with the gate open. I'm like, I wonder what's going on over there. So me, I wandered on over. I'm like, hey, what's going on over here? I'm a homeowner. Is that going to impact me? And spoke with somebody, probably the realtor at the time for the school board. And she said, yeah, we're going to sell it to a developer.
And what their plan was to do is bring bulldozers in, and this is 14 acres, and just level it, and then build 70 to 80 townhomes. And so we said, no way. We were just like, no, they're not going to take this land.
Went right home and got on my computer and printed out. I still have one, printed out a little flyer, printed out like 100 flyers, and just went all up and down all these places and surrounding places. I put them in all the
Found one at my
mailboxes.
place.
I
read that.
It
like,
found the right people. I put one
Whoa.
on the ads, a couple other key people, and it just kind of took off from there.
So people in the neighborhood decided to get together and ask the school board not to sell it to developers, but instead let us take on the job of raising money and buying the property and providing it to the county so the county could turn it into part of a bigger preserve that's already in the area. I would say that the interaction initially from the school board was skeptical because we were a small startup organization and they saw us mostly as being NIMBYs, not in my backyard people, who were organizing against something the school board wanted to do for its own success. It took meeting and repeating the message and helping them understand that we were serious and that we did want to do what we wanted to do and that we could potentially raise the money necessary so that they wouldn't have to sell it to developers.
In the beginning, when we started talking with the school board and were able to at least initially stop the sale, they said, okay, we'll hold it back. One of the interesting things that happened is about 3 or 4 weeks into it, COVID hit. That changed everything because no longer could we start having meetings where we could rally support for this. We had to learn how to do it virtually. It was truly going through and learning how do you start an organization when you can't even meet together.
My name is Duggan Cooley, and I'm the CEO of the Pinellas Community Foundation. So Pinellas Community Foundation was founded in 1969, and we're a not-for-profit public charity that helps to collect gifts and support from the community and serve as most often the community's permanent endowment. Folks from WK Preserve had seen what the foundation as well as other environmental groups were able to do to raise support and help save the Gladys Douglas Preserve, that they came to us to ask about a partnership. It's a good partnership, and it's a little bit unique from the other, the Gladys Douglas Preserve, because while we had great environmental groups that were a part of the effort to save the Gladys Douglas Preserve, there was no single nonprofit organization that was dedicated to saving that property. In this case, we have a nonprofit organization that has a very clear mission to save this property. We have a wonderful, motivated, good-meaning group of citizens that wants to see this property saved and is doing everything they can.
I met some really great neighbors. Not everybody lived in the area, and they said, no, we care and we want to help you. And so we all started putting time in. I lost whatever income I could have been working because I still work full time, but it became a passion and something that that I enjoyed doing and really enjoyed meeting all the people, made some great friends.
My name is Rebecca Hughes. I'm the volunteer manager and I am a volunteer with the WKPG. Oh, it's been wonderful. I started with the intention of, I can help them and, what can I do to make an impact? And they are already making an impact, right? Like I can help a little bit with coordinated communication and, finding people to help with specific projects. But as you said, the dedication that is evident when you see Tex speak, when you hear Kay talk about how important it is to be respectful of the funds that people are donating, to be good stewards of what the group is working towards. To me, that's incredibly inspiring. So my experience has been one of being pleasantly surprised to find such a wonderful group of humans to be working with.
I've always enjoyed this area. I've always admired this area. I don't want to see that the area develop. That's a natural wildlife preserve in there. I'm very impressed with the dedication of these people and the amount of hours they put in. Volunteering for any cause is a lot of work, and if you don't have people like the ones we have here today, then it will never happen. But it looks to me like it's going to happen because of these people.
I don't want to be called stubborn, but it is important that if you have something worth doing, that you stick with it.
We are polluting this earth. We are doing things that people do not realize today. In 50 years and in 100 years, it's going to make such a huge difference. And so we've got to stop it now. It's my responsibility now to be able to do that for my children and grandchildren and their children, for the young people today. I'm encouraged that if we don't destroy it, they'll be able to save it.
There's daily inspiration for doing good things to help the community. And so it's the people, the mission and the people that keep me motivated. And when the message is right and when people feel well connected to the cause, they'll do the right thing to help make sure places like the WK Preserve stay green space.
Humans are wired for group activities. We just are. And so it is a lot easier to stay at home and to stay in your routine. And it can be scary to come out of that focus. But there's a lot of value that comes in joining a community. And if you see a concern, probably someone else has seen it too. So even if there isn't an established group of people already working on an issue, you can start building that group yourself. And so I think I hope that that's what we'll see in the next few years, is people coming together more often on issues that they care about. And generally, I would say anything where you see an opportunity to help in your community, jump in. The worst that's going to happen is you realize maybe you can't be as helpful as you thought, and you take a step back. Best case scenario, you find a wonderful group of people who share your same concerns and values, and you're able to build that support network, no matter what that issue is.
One of the precious things about this land is it's the last 1% of Florida's scrub in Pinellas. The species that live out here can only live out here. They live in the scrub. There's a number of species that are threatened that if this scrub goes, they go.
We have in there a Florida rosemary plant, which is a threatened species in Florida. And it's a large, healthy plant that is propagating slowly. That would be gone. It would be bulldozed.
There's threatened air plants. This one here, a longleaf pine, is a protected pine tree. This one back over here, I'm not sure about this one. There's two that look alike, but that one over, that big one back there, an endangered longleaf pine.
We have probably 60 gopher tortoises that are in there and having babies. Those would all have to be relocated, and the relocation programs for gopher tortoises has not been very good, not very successful, and there's a large mortality rate for gopher tortoises. And gopher tortoises actually, as they grow, their burrow no longer fits, and so they abandon it, and it becomes home to something else. So they're always creating new homes for other animals, and that'll be gone. And so all of those animals will essentially disappear from the area.
It's the first set of tall trees in from the Gulf, or St. Joseph Sound, actually, where they catch the fish. Yeah. And it's the first place that they would come and light and land and eat the fish. So it's an integral part of their little world too.
Now you can see we have raccoon.
Yep.
Raccoons. We have a pack of coyotes out here currently. They shouldn't bother us at all. They're really skittish. The laws are that the gopher tortoise has to be relocated. But what happens to all of those guys? Where do they go? They really don't have anywhere to go. So it would be pretty insensitive to knock down the whole place. But a developer has gotten a thick skin because that's what he does for a living. And they're interested in getting the money. So that's what they do over anything else. Yeah.
They don't save a thing.
They don't save anything, right?
No. And then they fill it in, and they flatten it out, and they fill it in, and they don't save a thing. It's really
sad. The whole concept of development.
What was your initial reaction when you heard that this land was being put up for sale?
I will have to say that it was disappointment because one of the reasons we moved to this part of Florida was because of the natural beauty. And we were going to lose the nearest piece of natural beauty to our home.
I was very upset because, as I say, we've been coming down here, I guess, since 2015, 7 years now. And one of the things that drew us to this area was the amount of open space and the amount of wildlife area that they had over there, which I firmly believe that that's very important to our ecosystem all over the world today, is that we maintain these areas that are natural habitats for animals of all kinds.
There are several different reactions to understanding that land like this is up for sale. One is knowing that we live in a county that has very little land available for construction. And so it's inevitable that when parcels of just about any size come available, that there's a desire for development. And so I understand the inevitable, but I also have sadness and frustration that we are rapidly replacing the limited amount of green space that we have available and important ecosystems that really benefit the community as a whole and us as human beings.
If the preserve were destroyed, the first immediate effect would be that today it's a natural filter for rainwater and runoff from the neighborhood because it's an upland that goes into a lowland that then goes into the ocean. And it serves, because of all the sand and the subsoil, it serves as a good filter to clean up stuff before it gets into the ocean. You turn it into a condo community and you're going to have oil and dirt and stuff on the streets running off into that lowland area and increasing the pollution levels in those areas. So that's one negative. You'll have chemicals sprayed around in there in the neighborhood. Those will also wash into that area. So eventually there will be an effect on the lowlands and an effect on the ocean at this area that today the preserve stands behind and keeps it from happening.
If this is developed, you lose an important part of an ecosystem. Mm-hmm. And you're putting development right up against another sensitive area that's been preserved. And then we lose trees and tree cover, other plants, sensitive species. And so the degradation of any part of that, especially so close to other areas that are sensitive habitats, is detrimental to systems as a whole.
So the entire county is being overdeveloped at too quick a speed. I'm not anti-development, but it's got to be done properly, or you'll ruin the infrastructure. You'll just ruin the integrity of the entire community if you overbuild where it shouldn't be overbuilt. There's something very special about this preserve. Something beyond what we all see and hear about it. And that's why I like to give tours. Because while people are out there, they can get a sense of that it is a special place.
So the residents of Pinellas County, the greatest thing that they can do, there are two things. One, provide financial support, and then tell other people that you care and that they should support this effort as well. And I think those are the two key things: provide financial support and spread the message. Invite others to be a part of this. That is absolutely the greatest gift that our residents and people who care about this can give us.
For WK Preserve specifically, please give us money. Outside of that, talking to your friends, your neighbors about what you value about the property, why it's an important investment for yourself, for your children. Even just sharing that information with your network is really helpful. So if you can't give money, give a little bit of airtime to the preserve itself.
People can give money and they can network with their friends and say, here's something we ought to support. Would you look into it? And if you agree with it, then go ahead and support it. So we'd like both direct donations and direct involvement, and we'd like proselytizing for fundraising. But in addition to that, we do have a group of volunteers and a group of people who are out there spreading the message, and they can become part of that team.
Everything helps. Like every little bit of everything that everybody's done to this point has helped. You cannot say one person helped more than another one. You know, I'm equal with everybody who helped because we were all a big part of the puzzle. The simplest thing that you can do is you can join our Facebook, sign up on Facebook, join on the Facebook so you can follow what we're doing. And then when we have events, go to the events and come meet some of the people, especially some of the board people, and just say hi. Let us know that you're interested in helping and ask us how you can help. Probably one of the things that helps the most is when new people join and we gain inspiration from them.
I think the key element of the resilience of the effort to save this is the continued growth in the number of people coming forward who care about it. And so both of us and both organizations see that in every new donor that steps forward, in every story that is written about this and communicated with the community about the importance of this property. And so while this is slow going in many respects, it's that you sort of renew every time someone else steps forward to help, and it reminds us how much people in the community really do care. And so I think it's that keeps us all moving forward.
Don't wait and get involved soon. I think you'll be happy that you did.
Go ahead and educate yourself on what the importance of the environment, the importance of conservation, the importance of saving land. It's more important than you think.